and welcome to my life in cool and slightly overcast Central Texas. I'm off to get an oil change. It's just something you do after any long trip. Gotta be done. A lot of people don't think about it. Oh, there's still oil in there. But just like in your body, the stuff in the vehicle will break down. Your red blood cells kind of start getting worn out. Your body recycles. You've got cellular structures in your bones that have to get recycled. You know, same thing in your vehicle. The oil gets a little old, you got to change it. The oil does not have any self-recycling. I mean, that would be sweet. Your body only does a certain amount of recycling when it's triggered by the right conditions. What you can do to stay healthy is to make sure you provide the triggers for those conditions. Anyone who follows some YouTube channels, certainly not all of them, knows that for the most part, carnivores don't take a lot of supplements. We don't really need a lot of supplements. I mean, even vitamin C. If you're not packing your body full of the nonsense that increases your need for vitamin C, the amount you need goes way down. And then it's such a tiny amount that the need is met by the minuscule amount in the meats we're eating. I like that. I don't like having to keep up with a whole lot of stuff. Now, I do a few extra things because of the TIA. Apparently, B6 is a neuroprotective vitamin. I don't know if it's seen as an essential by the scientific world. I start going down rabbit holes on a regular basis on the interwebs, and I realize a lot of people on the interwebs are very wrong. I know this because I also follow Bart K, and his videos where he reacts to a video and tells you exactly how wrong they are wonderful. If you like that kind of humor, cussing, and name calling. And he makes references to the fine Pim Jensen, the lady of the house. She's smart too. I don't think I've ever seen her react to anything that pissed her off enough to make her cuss. But I don't know what happens when the cameras are off. But she has intelligent things to say about nutrition. And I look at her videos too. Now, carnitine apparently is a isolated protein, L-carnitine, that seems to help people with brain issues. Or you could be so very backwards that it'll cause seizures instead. And I ordered some and I said, hell with it. N equals N of 1, right? My life, my body, I can try whatever I want to try. I even happen to be in a right to try state. There are places in the world where you can't attempt to make your health better, even when the science behind a product is solid. I don't get that. I mean, I realize somebody's protecting their and their friends' wallets. That's all. They want that bottom line agenda. If my phone was loose and in my hand, I would have shown you a field full of blue bonnets. We have many other flowers coming along now. Dandelions are first. A few other of what people call weeds and dump poison on usually comes right behind those. And then the blue bonnets, and then the serious flowers. Depending where you live, you might get some black-eyed Susans, some Indian paintbrush. You know, there's so many beautiful things out there. And as I've said about the henbit and the dandelions, you know, as vegetation goes, it's not as immediately toxic as some things. So if you catch your 3-year-old putting a twig of henbit in their mouth, no worries. You know, you don't have to call poison control about that unless you're in the habit of dumping poison on things in your yard. Some people do. I've never been able to understand it. And it gets pushed on the rest of us. Oh, your yard needs to be just grass. And you need to pull everything else that's not grass. And you can't grow, if you're a vegetable eater, so many places, especially HOAs, don't want you to grow anything that looks like vegetation meant for your plate in the front yard. Well, guess what? I want to encourage that kind of behavior. It's called guerrilla gardening. When you can get something to grow in places where people are not looking for it. If you plant some carrots and they make ferny tops, I put seed balls in my car one time just to toss them into fence lines where herbs would sprout in places where they should naturally grow if humanity was not in such a hurry to plow everything that is disapproved of. You know, there are some decorative things that are members of the cabbage family. So if you're in a place that doesn't want any food gardening to happen on the side yard, you know, the narrow strip next to the house, between your house and the next person's yard, or in the front beds, you can get these colorful cabbagey things and then make colorful cabbage soup, or colorful sauerkraut, or colorful coleslaw. Whatever. Find a way to let your feral side out. Now, get a decent food-safe bag, maybe of waxed canvas or some other reasonably friendly construction that you can take with you when you go hiking and look for forageables. If I find a patch of wild carrot, oh, not wild carrot, of wild onion somewhere with seeds forming, I'm gonna get seeds. I actually used to use the ones in my yard in Andrews, because raising kids can be expensive, and the dog was fairly well contained, and he had a long enough chain. We tried a rope, he broke it. We tried a cable, he snapped it. We tried a chain, he broke that. And we finally had him on such a heavy-duty chain that you could tow a vehicle the size of Loki's blue toolbox here. We know we could tow a vehicle with it because we used it that way at least once. But you know, some dogs just take a little more containing than others, and that's fine. And when we got here, we had a much smaller yard, but it was still enough room for his chain and him. And I love that dog. I still miss him. Unlike some people, I don't give up a dog just because I'm moving. I will find a place I can take my dog. So we kept him. He's just a real good dog. School zone. Yeah, getting Loki's oil change is kind of important. And they better not be out of Mobile One full synthetic. The last place, put something else in. We won't be back. Took a vehicle somewhere once that didn't have exactly the right size filter. And auto parts store was across the street. They didn't send somebody out. They used something that was close and left us with a pretty steady drip. So it was real easy to run the oil way too low in that one. And that ties back to my comparison earlier about we've got to take care of our bodies the way as seriously as we have to take care of our vehicles. If you get a vehicle, the smart thing to do is to find out what maintenance has to be done and when. And then you follow that schedule. You get your oil change when you need it, you put the fuel in when you need it, and I guess I'll be doing that too. And you get clean air filters, and you make sure you've got the right water level in the radiator. All these things add up to making the vehicle last a lot longer. Dr. Chafee says you are meant to last to 120 or even 130 years old. Why not? Give it a try. Put the right things in your body. Eat what you need to eat to make you healthy and last a long time. You need your essential proteins and your essential fatty acids. There are no essential carbohydrates. In fact, when you dump high carbohydrates down your silly neck, you wind up with your body having to handle that. It gets converted to sugars. Literally, when you're still putting it in your mouth, you've got all this stuff, bread and rice and potatoes, being converted to sugars. And your body has to handle it. When you're dumping fruit down your gob, you wind up with a similar issue, except that only the liver can process out the fructose. And then you wind up with it stored as fat in the liver. Can you eat fruit? Yes, you can. Should you eat fruit? You are an adult, and hopefully, or aiming at being an adult at some point in your life. And so, when you eat fruit, you should do it on purpose with malice aforethought. That's the way I look at it. I eat fruit with intent. There are some things I like. But they'd better be darn good. And I better be willing to put up with how I'm going to feel afterward. Because that makes a big difference. I've been rubbing my wrist and taking care of a sore body for the last week. I've got arthritis. I know I do. And eating the wrong things will aggravate that. So, when I do it, when I put some blueberries in my little custards. And I'm going to start using a little more cream. Make them a little more custard type pie-like in texture. I'll get some allulose. It's a fiber. And fiber is contraindicated. Edward Gecki is it Goecki something? Anyway, he's a very young man who's done a lot of research about what he should or shouldn't eat because he's got some serious health issues to look out for. I do not quite have that level of issues. I'm just kind of beat up. I'm still trying to get my right knee to heal. Basketball and skateboard, y'all. They'll bite you. Sometimes my right elbow is really sore too. But I'm not even taking ibuprofen anymore. I've broken that habit. I'm not filling up my water bottle and then dumping in ginger and turmeric or whatever I'm doing on that particular day. I don't need that. So I have a little ache sometimes. Not the end of the world. And the last thing I want to do is cover it up with a over-the-counter painkiller so that I don't feel the pain I should feel and wind up making it worse. That's largely what painkillers are for. If you have a painkiller issue, you don't need as much of a pain management doctor as you need someone to help you get off them. A lot of people out there will say, talk to your doctor about that. If your doctor doesn't de-prescribe, and have an intelligent conversation with you, or go, hey, let's take the dosage down to half, but you'll still have some in the house if you need them, then you need to find a different doctor. If you can't have an intelligent conversation with your doctor, and I have tried, there is one I would go back to if he was still practicing in Georgetown, or if he'd moved somewhere closer. Instead, he moved further out. Maybe it's less of a commute for him. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I thought he'd left the Beeler, Scott, and White system entirely. But I did find his name in a search when I was looking for a new primary care. And I just may have to start driving all the way out to wherever he is, in like Liberty Hill or something. I'm willing to do that. And that would put me where I could go eat lunch that day, maybe at Dahlia or one of these other good places. So many options. But someone who sits there trying to browbeat me into taking a statin drug when all the studies are pure crap, except for the ones that admit that they cause harm. And they do. They cause weakness in the muscles. The heart is a muscle. They cause other problems too. I do not need those problems. I do not need to be diabetic. I do not need dementia. That's one of those problems, you know? It seems to contribute. Why would it contribute? You might ask yourself. Well, I ask myself. But think about it. Your brain is made out of cholesterol. Your body produces the cholesterol your brain wants, packs it up into the LDL structure, and sends that LDL out swimming to the liver, the cholesterol you need, to the places where you need it. And if you cannot create the exact cholesterol molecule that your body was making for the renew and recycle process, because it happens in the brain too, just that neurons last a lot longer than blood cells, so brain healing is slow, frustratingly so. But you know what? Need it, your body makes it. You know what a statins does? What statins do is prevent your body from making the cholesterol that your body is trying to make and deliver to your brain or to the lipid shields on your cells. It doesn't stop a darn thing from what you put in your mouth. You want to be healthier, and you want to involve what you eat to be part of that process of getting healthier, then you stop eating the carbs that raise your triglycerides and turn into sugar in your body. Like I said, as soon as you put them in your mouth almost, the saliva starts breaking down all those carbohydrates and turns them into what we will see on, I mean, I don't have one, but people using continuous glucose monitors can do this. They can eat bread, and their blood glucose will go up. It could be the only thing they eat. Oh, let's get a nice baguette, and we'll stuff it full of whatever. Well, if you don't believe me, leave off the meat and the cheese and the vegetables. Just eat the bread. Just eat a big, soft, lovely, toasty roll. You know? and watch your blood glucose go up. If you don't believe me and don't want to spend money on a CGM, most drugstores where I am will do a free blood glucose check. The one in the grocery store, and the one on the corner, and the one selling flowers and candy for Easter, most of them will. So you pop into one, and then you go back into your car, and you eat a big old crusty roll, whatever, half a loaf of French bread. There's all kinds of things. But you get that carb level up. What do you think will happen to your blood glucose level? I think for the most part you want to take is it 45 minutes? I don't know, but if you're just eating this bread, it's going to go fast. But maybe 1 hour after you eat this bread and see what your blood glucose has done. I found a 7-Eleven. I think it's time to get some fuel. I think I'm just about to the limit of what I can do for a video right now. But now I have a full fuel tank and an empty bladder. That's a pretty good combination, even if I'm just going to be sitting next door at the oil change place out here on the northwestern edge of Georgetown, Texas. I'm going to be trying a new oil change place. It's a 5-minute thing. It's the most recent brand in the area, but they are supposed to have the Mobil 1 full synthetic that Loki wants in this truck. Y'all have a good day. It's a real pretty one here, and it's another cool morning, even though it's it just turned noon, so it's a cool day, and that'll help the flowers last. Because when summer hits in full strength, it'll be too hot for almost anything. Even cactuses die here. Alright. Take care of yourselves. Grandma wants you to be okay. Bye-bye.